Time after time, I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my shadows and kicks in my face, but I've come through. I need to go on, 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 on. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
Wow. And
Hey,
Alex would say, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to the Easy Talk. I have to say, the Champions Edition of the Easy Talk. We have got in the house. We have got in the house. El Tel and Tim.
hey,
Alex would say that these guys are the H-men. These guys you don't want to mess about. If you
what's
want to
this?
be drowned, in deep waters, these are the guys that will do it because they've got the dark arts. They know how to play football. It doesn't matter what formation, they can unlock any lock. These are the H-men, Eltel and Tim. Tim and Eltel, how you guys doing, man? You okay?
Listen, I got this beautiful song. It's so inane, but it's beautiful. It goes, we know what we are. We know what we
know
are.
what we are.
Champions of England. We know what we are.
Fantastic. And Tim, how you getting on, brother? How you
I
doing?
haven't seen you in a long time. It's very good. It's brilliant. Great to be on. And sure, we're. I was with Terry and Glenwood, and it was brilliant. Like it's great to win. And I feel like kind of, how would you put it, at the end of a journey. I'm particularly delighted for people like my own son. He's only 20, so he's never saw Arsenal win the Premier League before. And then at the I don't want to make Terry sound old, but like at the other end of the spectrum, if Terry, let's say, who I suppose has seen the great teams, double winning teams in 71, 89. And so there's great perspective there, and I think everyone enjoyed it. I think they won it. I was going to say honestly, there's no charges hanging over them, and even if Man City are somehow have to be reprimanded, it doesn't matter now. Arsenal have beaten them, and they've beaten them fair and square. So it was a very sporting, very strong win, and I loved. I love the the winner, but I love the way the likes of Odegaard and Eze and Trossard and people maybe that won't be like obviously Rice and Raya and Gabriel, they're brilliant players, but maybe these other players that were a bit more expressive kind of were key to Arsenal's win. I felt at the end, like, brilliant. Brilliant is the word you could use.
There we go. Summed up really well. And another brother from my mother. Glenwyn, how are you? How you doing, mate? How's things? How you feeling?
Oh man, you know what? It is amazing. It's my second time that I'm seeing Arsenal being champions in 2004 and now. It's amazing. It's a long 22 years that I've been waiting for. We obviously went through pain, the rival fans, the mainstream media. Now that social media is on, you are going through a hell of a pain. If I walk in a mall or wherever I walk with my Arsenal kit jersey, Arsenal, you're going to bottle it again this year. So, you know what I mean? Those are the things that I find. Now Cape Town, let me give you a bit of a background. Cape Town has got a huge following of Man United and Liverpool.
Yeah,
it's a lot of Man United and Liverpool fans. In fact, there's two Liverpool retail stores just opened this week in Joburg one and now in Cape Town one. So, I mean, can imagine how big they are. So I get a lot of flack from these fans, and we are the champions, and that is it. Nobody can say how we've done it. We've done it. After 22 years, we deserve it. Come on, you Gunners, let's go for the Champions League. And that's the bottom line of it. Yeah. I am happy, very happy. I cried, by the way, the other night. I shed a tear. I had to obviously celebrate by myself. And I shed a tear, and obviously there's thoughts of plenty of people that I know that are Arsenal, huge Arsenal fans that didn't make it, i.e. Alex and people here in Cape Town as well. So it was a hell of an evening for me, all by my lonesome, but we did it. I am so happy.
I think the WhatsApp group had like blown up with messages. Social media was overtaken. I think for me, like you, Glenn, when I shed a tear because I was thinking about my mum and my brother. It would have been lovely, of course, if they were here. But my mum was the one who like she had a bet with my dad. It was 1971. With an FA Cup final, and she said, who do you think is going to beat Liverpool? Put your hand up if you think Arsenal is going to beat Liverpool. And I put my hand up. I didn't know what I put my hand up for. I thought, let me just go on my mum's side, and I saw my all-time hero Charlie George, scoring that marvelous volley. And I'm a lover of Arsenal, and then I had to force Alex to join Arsenal, but he. Just one other thing, I didn't mention this, but Alex played for Highbury Grove School in their final against St Aloysius at the Highbury ground, and he shook hands with Pat Jennings at the end. Pat Jennings was like a guest, at the final. So Alex, I said Alex is like that levels in that kind of a sporting endeavour. So he shook hands with football royalty.
Yes.
And he played on the Highbury pitch.
He played the pitch, yeah. He played the pitch. He played
the
first half. Played the first half. He played in goal, and they scored. And then they put him out as a defender for the second half, and they drew. So I think that might be changing something.
He told me that story. Yeah.
Very good.
I love it.
But yeah, I think it's amazing how now we've sent the bench press. You can all these the negative aspects from our rivals and everybody else. We've put that to bed now. We put that to bed in the best way. I always say, if rather than talk about it, just do it. And then when you do it, you get it over the line. Then nobody can argue. And what they can still whinge about it.
It's going to be
Exactly. So everyone, in their own kind of way. Like I said, with Eltel, you was there. You went to the Emirates, mate.
I can tell you the story. Basically, we went up to there's a pub near us called the Arness Arms, and they had the match on all the different tellies there. And I'd been the previous match. I've watched us play there with David O'Dwyer, who, out of interest, is from very close to where Tim's talking from now, Scariff. And so anyway, we went up there, and then my wife and daughter said, Michael was down, our son was down, let's watch it outside. They got an outside area. And I was watching the match, and I was talking to a fella, I suppose he was in his 30s, and he was a Cypriot, Greek or Turkish, I don't know. And when the final whistle blew, I grabbed the nearest person I could find to hug, and it was this poor Greek Cypriot guy, like a black bandana on, And anyway, that becomes relevant because what happened was, Michael, our son Michael, had school the next day. He's a teacher in the school, so he said, "Look, I'd love to stay with you all, but I've got to get up for work." So we all went back, but by then the streets were full of fireworks and fans hanging out of cars and horns beeping. And when we arrived in the house, only a couple of minutes around the corner, Clara said, "Come on, Dad, let's go." I said, "Where?" She said, "Well, we'll get on the tube and either we'll go either to Finsbury Park or we'll go to the stadium. So we got on the tube. It was like a riot on the tube. It was a party. And every time the tube came into a station, the fans were going, ooh, and as the doors opened, yeah, like this, and more gooners. And how the tube stayed on the rails, I don't know. Every character was rocking. Anyway, we arrived, myself and Clara, my daughter, arrived at the stadium. And we made our way round, so we were high up near entrance S, which is the director's Diamond Club suite, purely by accident. We don't normally scrub those. And we had a good view down at the cannons where most of the sort of lunatics were dancing away and bouncing, you know. And I looked to my right, because everybody was jammed, and I looked to my right, and it's the same guy with the black bandana, the Turkish Cypriot guy. I said, "Are you attached to me or what? What's going on?" Anyway, suddenly we walked in. Michael then called us and he said, "I couldn't go home and go to sleep." He said, "I'm getting on the train," and he went down to Drayton Park, which is another tube line near. And he got his pockets full of beer because he's in a football club, 7-a-side, called Milk Boys FC. They're all from St. Ignatius Secondary School, Roman Catholic, I might add. And they all bombed in. They're all mad and lunatics and go to every game. They're actually going to the final, by the way, these guys. Anyway, Michael arrived, Arsenal kit on, bottles of Stella Artois. And it was just a riot. But it was happy. And we stood there, myself and Clara, for ages until Michael arrived. And the thing that hit me, and a lot of people have been saying this, Jeremy Corbyn, the MP, even a lot of the TV presenters have said, it was a perfect example of people from every ethnic background. Now, you couldn't know I'm Irish by looking at me, but there would have been a lot of Irish people there. There would have been people from literally every country you can probably name. And I couldn't see any police. Everybody was united. There must have been 50, 60, 70,000. And at the parade, it's going to be, they reckon, 2 million people. But, you know, that's my abiding memory, not just of the dancing and all the other kind of stuff, but just the fact that multiculturalism does work. They keep telling us in the press here, oh, it doesn't work. Of course it does. And everybody was cuddling each other and jumping and popping, and a few were drinking beer and photographs, and several fellas, I don't know how they managed to do it, but they started shinning up. You know, the big lampposts outside the stadium. Well, and they're high up, but they shinned up those. And so I think one guy, I saw footage of him, he got on top of a London bus, which is to be discouraged, of course. But anyway, on the way back, we didn't leave till nearly midnight. And we said to Michael, are you going to get on the tube at Arsenal? He said, no, I'll just walk to Finsbury Park. That's where he's going to get his train. So anyway, we went down, Clara and I had to wait for 10 or 15 minutes. The train came in really slowly. Tube came in, and I thought, well, they probably told the driver, be careful in case fans are drunk and fall in front of the tube. But we sat on the tube for 10 or 15 minutes, and then he came round and said, the tube's broken. Well, I'm not surprised the amount of hammer those tubes got. So we all had to get off the tube and wait until about another half an hour. So we didn't get in until 1. So it was lunatic. I might as well have stayed there to see Declan Rice and all the lads arrive, you know. So great evening. Just such a celebration, you know. So many lovely songs, and it was a genuine outpouring of, like, none of us I didn't plan it. Nobody planned it. I think it was just let's go there, and people arrived, and it was thoroughly good vibe. Yeah. Brilliant.
I think you totally summed up what it was, or what it means to be a multicultural community. Sport will always do that. You know, I remember the Olympics in 2012 and how that brought a lot of people together, you know, regardless. I find it kind of ironic. I mean, I don't want to like make this into like a kind of political kind of stance, but last week when they had those marches, someone did a really smart idea with one of the trucks that had the screen, and it said about how multiculturalism does work, and it had all all the well-known faces, whether it's Linford Christie or if it was Mo Farah, everybody. We're gonna be doing this a lot now. We're gonna do this a lot. Um, and I heard a lot of boos, and I was thinking, I wonder how many of you, go to the football matches and have that same kind of attitude, and I don't think any of them could have been, I hope to God, in the sense that any of them are Arsenal fans, but that's that outpouring of we've won the Premiership. It's taken that amount of time. We have gone through so many changes, so many players,
Yeah,
so much heartbreak, and not just on a sporting level, but emotional level as well, physical level as well. And then here we are, we've come to this point where, what, in most cases, we say that the pain has this team has healed us. It's brought us together. It's made us more united.
yeah,
And now we've got the next set of generation of fans who now have just realized, what, I live in or near, and if this is what we expect of my team, then it's worth fighting for as well.
yeah. There's a famous story I heard years ago, which I'll share with you. I was working in a school and I was chatting to this guy. I think he was from Eritrea or somewhere, and he said he was driving through Somalia like many years ago, and he's a big Arsenal fan, and he had the Arsenal top on and that, and he was running out of petrol, and he thought, oh my God, I'm in the middle of the desert here. Where am I going to get petrol? I'll get stranded. I'm in big trouble. So he's going across the deserts of Somalia, and he sees it in the distance, a little dot, which as he gets closer is a petrol station. Oh, thank God, he said. And he pulled up and he saw the pumps. Nobody there. Oh my God, I better go in. I can't just fill the car without making sure. And he was looking, there was nobody in the office taking money. So he heard the telly on in the back room, and he opened the door, and the back room was full of Arsenal fans watching an Arsenal match.
There you go. Even in the desert, you still find us.
Yeah, you do it.
Right. So I've got a couple. Sorry.
Oh no, go on, Ralph. Sorry. Yeah.
I was going to say there's a couple of things I want to try and clear up, as it were. So, right, we've reached the top of the summit. We can see, everybody else, we're on the top. Where do you reckon we're going to go next, guys, in terms of the way that this team is?
It'll be interesting to see. Firstly, obviously there's a very immediate test coming in Budapest in the Champions League final, and that'll be interesting to see how that develops, because there is a kind of a belief that that PSG are kind of nearly unbeatable, but Arsenal put it very close to them last year, ran them right. Joe ran right up the wall, and Arsenal since then I think have improved. Definitely. The let's say Eze, Trossard, Joe, there's a few kind of attacking elements, Saka, that are kind of coming into form. Havertz has already scored a Champions League winning goal, and I think Arsenal won't concede a lot. Like in Dembele, these players played against Arsenal last year. They didn't make any real inroads. It was a very tight match, and I think Arsenal could go very close to that. And sorry, in answer to your question, Ralph, where Arsenal going to go long term or medium term, I suppose, is that they have a squad now, and I think it's been proven you need a squad. Like, you need the 22 players, you need 2 players in every position. You even need kind of lads to cover for injuries and all that. And Arsenal have proven now that they have that squad and they'll be able to sustain it. And I'd say the club owners, or Josh Kroenke, the son with his Stan's son, he seems to be ambitious. He wants to win things. He wants to think. And like, going back to the festivities in the Emirates the other day, I mean, it really proves Arsenal are a club, but they are representative. Like, they're a big entity, obviously, a £1 billion industry, but like they are a club representative of a community. And sure, Terry is very much from that, around that area, and my own connection is with that London Irish connection as well. But like, now it's more multicultural and everything, but still, when you go around that part of the city, you feel very comfortable. It's very inclusive. Myself and Terry had breakfast, I think, once or twice in that little cafe just at the corner. It was on one of the videos. It's the Little Wonder, I think it's called, and beautiful spot. But that part of London is lovely. And no, but like you said, when you see all those people out and about celebrating, and it was almost like, it was reflective of like the famous '89 job, like Mickey Thomas's goal to beat Liverpool in the injury time, and it was reflective of that type of celebration. Just complete euphoria. Everyone was in it for the good of it. There was no aggression. It was very inclusive, and it was really great. Like, in fairness to Arsenal, I think Arsenal as a model for like, it's an urban club. Like, it's a very mature. Terry, you always say it's very close to the city centre, but it is. But it also has provided a link with the community, and there's a great history around it. I remember we were over there a couple of times, and we went to see the old Highbury ground, and that's Parliament's, and that Gillespie Road, Holloway Road, Highbury Corner, all, like, these are all places that when we were kids in Ireland we would have heard about, because not necessarily, well, my own father worked over there, but like, all our friends and our neighbours and would have all lived around that part of London, up around Archway, where I think that's where Jeremy Corbyn, I think, lives, and all that part of London. It really is a strong community, a strong kind of inclusive environment, and I think Arsenal are very central to that. So I think that without me making it too much of a social commentary, I think it was a great win. I think it was just brilliant that the supporters were so positive, and like, there was a question mark that there was going to be 150,000 people that around the street. Yeah, all over North London, and there was, as someone says, there wasn't an egg cup broken. So it was very, very inclusive, very, very positive. Everyone was embracing it for what it was, a celebration, and they are a brilliant. There is a kind of a certain, like, Arsenal, I'd say, even though Chelsea have probably maybe edged in a bit now, but Arsenal, I still think, are the kings of London. They still have they have more of a groundswell of support maybe than any other London club. And of course, they have that gigantic history, like going back to, is it Herbert Chapman in the 30s and all that. But like, even you were talking there about Charlie George in the in 71. We always talk in Ireland about Niall Quinn in a League Cup in 87. David O'Leary won the FA Cup and leagues with him. And then of course you have the Invincibles, and you've and the big French connection then maybe in Arsenal England with Vieira, and so it is a club that is very much based in its community, but it has a big international link as well. So it was a brilliant win, and I know it was a great season. Like, myself and Linwin and Terry obviously discussed a lot of football on maybe a slightly broader scope, but it was a brilliant season. There was some great players, great performance. Man City were as the saying goes, they were a deserving adversary. They were got stuck in. Haaland, even though I think he's maybe not that terribly popular, but you'd have to admire him. When Gabriel got stuck into him, he didn't go down rolling around the place. He took the fight to him, and like, Semenya was brilliant, and then let's say you have the other clubs down along. Like, I mean, Areola and Bournemouth are just a revelation. Like, I mean, if he was
absolutely,
Sorry, I overtook there, but sorry, Ralph.
No. Yeah. My main question was, the video that I was watching earlier behind me. Yeah. It was 8 months ago, and we was playing. I believe we played against Liverpool, and we lost 1-0, if memory serves me. And Alex said that how, he had enough of Arteta. God rest your axe now, but he said he had enough of Arteta. And there was a lot of. I mean, 8 months ago we was thinking, it's still early doors, but can we actually get it over the line? And there was a lot of doubt. What this young team has done, and Arteta, to his credit, we was talking about a rookie. coming into a managerial position, and it's taken him 5 years, 6 years in the
6 years, I think. Yeah.
process, 6 years in the process to get us over the line. And I think this was like a do or die kind of season, where if we came out of the FA Cup, I think very weak. We came out of the Carabao Cup with one of the things that I really I disliked was when. It's bad enough losing, but when a player takes the mickey out of just doing a kippy uppy on the pitch of play, I would have two-footed him if I could be closer to him. Yeah. So all those.
No, I think you're right. It did feel like a do or die season, and I remember thinking I bought this top. I don't buy the top every year, but I bought it this year just after Christmas, and I said to myself, "Shall I buy it, shan't I?" And I said, "Well, do you know what? If we're ever going to do it after 3 seconds, this is the year." But they ran it very close.
We always do.
There's still something that sort of bothers me, and I've gone onto social media to look for answers, and there's Arsenal fans, and I mean quite a lot of Arsenal fans has obviously been very negative over the last couple of years since McGabe came in. And a lot of people said yes, he was a trainee manager, and I think the Arsenal fans were too hasty in terms. They didn't want to see another Wenger sort of situation. I think they wanted to see immediate results, especially when the club made a decision in bringing Mikel Arteta. And a lot of fans obviously became very, very toxic towards him. And I saw something about his wife the other day when she was asked, how do they deal with all the threats that they got, all the things that were said negatively about him. So her response was she just took herself out of the equation and just let it be him. And then she was just the support. And that, I think that, and he made mention in the press conference the other day when they asked, and then he gave her all the credit because he said that it's because of her that he's still there. You would have given up a long time ago. Yeah. And that tells you about the character of Mikel Arteta. Excuse me. And also I said it on Wednesday night with the guys on the radio recording is that when Josh Kroenke sat him down in the beginning and said to him, you have to trust the people in the room with you. Yeah. And that gave him the backing and the confidence to continue, and obviously his family. And I think we as fans, we never saw the humanity part in Arteta. We wanted to see results. Fair enough, we are fans. We support the team to get us to a championship, to lift trophies, and so forth and so on. But I think it gave him a couple of years first to clean out, and then of course to build. And so far, he did it so perfectly. And you mentioned it something, I think, Terry, you mentioned it earlier in the week, is that we've done it, and we've done it with integrity. We didn't go and cheat. We didn't go and cheat the PSR situations at all. We've done it in the correct way. So did Liverpool as well. So I think a lot of fans, and I'm hoping that these fans will come and support. I mean, they called made a statement earlier. Now go get the manager. That's the sort of thing that I'm talking about. But our own fans must come out and really look into themselves. Yes, we were critical about Arteta, and maybe he should have been gone long ago. But look, if he had gone maybe 2 seasons, 3 seasons in, would we have made a decision to bring in the manager to win the trophy or some trophy at least? I don't know. We don't know that. So in hindsight, we're going to say things. But what I wanted to say is that those fans that were so toxic towards him really have to put up their hands and you know what, and give him his flowers, even if it's just for this championship. And I mean, what if he's going to go win the Champions League? What are they going to say then? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'll tell you something that Yeah, you're right there in your summation there, Glenn. When Unai Emery had come into that toxic environment, I mean, I put my hand up. I was, after I think the first initial season, he only lasted about nearly 2 seasons, was it, or
Just
just about
about just about one and a half, yeah.
1.5. I think
1.5?
it was
Yeah.
December. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking, you know what, this wasn't good enough. Alex and I, we had arguments about it because Alex was pretty much the one to say, you know what, Unai Emery has got. I mean, look, he just won with Aston Villa a couple of days
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
European.
yeah, yeah.
So
Europa League,
so
yeah.
his European credentials are still intact in that kind of way. Um,
Yeah.
but it's taken him roughly about the same time, if not maybe a bit longer, than Arteta. So were the fans kind of right in the sense to say, okay, sorry, Unai, it's not good enough. All of a sudden, we've got Arteta, who had no real credentials at all. Really, it was he was forever mentioned that he did get some stick. He was called the Code Man as well,
Yeah.
which I totally abhorred against because he came in. I wanted to give him that much of a chance. I didn't want him to be hounded out like we hounded out Arsene Wenger because we knew that it wasn't simply not good enough, and I think that he also knew it wasn't good enough. But in his own admission, he said how when you're in a love affair with a team like Arsenal, it's very hard to let go. You
Yeah.
know, you need
I
strong
think
people around you to say, "Come on now, this is the time."
I think Unai's proved with Aston Villa that he is an excellent manager. I think he
Brilliant.
really has done that, and I think it was a bit of a shame because his accent wasn't great, his grasp of English wasn't great, that he suffered, and it was probably our tabloid newspapers more than
More,
anything
yeah,
else.
Yeah.
They laid into him. They saw a little crack and they laid in because bad news is good news as far as the gutter press is
Well,
over here. And I remember. Do you remember yourself, me, Alex, Ralph, and me? We all went to the Gunners pub for that final. Do you remember the cup
yes,
winners?
Baku,
Yeah, in Baku, and
yeah,
I went in there early on, and the woman running it was Una, if you
that's
remember,
right,
Lord
yeah.
rest her soul, and her husband was a Northern Ireland guy, and I got on with him okay, but the pub filled up, and I
Mm.
remember I had you or Alex on the phone, and you said we're outside, but they won't let any more in. They were
That's
waiting
right.
until people left, and I
Yeah.
went over to him and I said, "Listen, you know me, don't you?" He kind of nodded. I don't know if he did or not. I said, "I've got two mates out there, let them in." And luckily, the two of you came forward
That's
and got
right.
in.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah. I remember that.
And we
Yeah.
watched the match. Unfortunately, Eden Hazard played a blinder, and you never
Mm.
heard of him after that.
No.
But
yeah,
No.
that
he's
was the only.
yeah.
but
But
that was the only final that he's lost. So he's a cracking manager. But I will say this: I think Unai suffered because it's a bit like when Sir Alex Ferguson left Man United. The first manager in was David Moyes, and
mm.
he suffered in comparison.
Oh
And the
yeah.
Yeah.
same with Unai. So although
Yes.
I believe Arteta went for the Arsenal job then, but Unai got it, I think it was better that he stayed with Pep at Man City, learned
Get
his
more.
trade. And the thing I think most of all that strikes me is, and you see this in every walk of life in teaching, you see a young teacher come in and they're a bit rough around the edges, but some of them you think that person's got it. That person establishes a link, a rapport with the children. They've got a good grasp of what's going on, and you can spot the kernel of a really good person there, a good
Yeah.
teacher or a good manager. And I think Arteta had enough of that about him. And most importantly, and he said about this, he said, "I've got to create the right atmosphere, the right
Yes.
psyche, the right mindset in the players."
Yes.
And he had some very cocky players. He had Aubameyang, who, fair enough, won us an FA Cup, but didn't
Mm.
he just cause trouble there? Was it the week before last? Who's
Is he
playing?
Versailles now, is he?
He was in terrible trouble he caused. They wouldn't leave the dressing room, or the manager, I don't know, they was terrible. So those are the toxic guys that Arteta had.
Yeah. And also what I think with Unai is, let's be honest, he just didn't go into the job and change things. It also took him a bit of time to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, is there now also the same time that Arteta is at Arsenal, is it?
Well, he went back to Spain and then he came again.
Then he came again. So it's about 4 years, 4.5, 5 years. But it took him also a while to bring Silverware to the club, and it's amazing. Yes, if Arsenal has given him the time they probably gave to Arteta, there might have been some differences. I'm sure. Yeah. He would have learned. He would have also been given the slack. But I think that the owners at that time were very so much, and I think that what happened is that I think Arsene Wenger also had a hand in recruiting Arteta. That is what I believe. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But I think Arteta has got Arsene Wenger has got a hand in the recruitment of Arteta. Yeah. And I think they probably reach out to him and say, "Who do you think is the guy that's going to do something for us?" That is my thinking. It could be, it could not be. So.
I'll tell you what was quite interesting when back to Tuesday night when all the fans was around the Emirates and Ian Wright, he was in the Torrington pub. I wish I was there. I don't know why. I was there twice, and I missed him. But he was talking about how being patient with Arteta. The board had lost, like you said, Glenn, the board had a lot of faith, and there were some things that we couldn't see. We saw them on the Amazon Prime, when they covered Arsenal. I didn't like that because I think everything that goes on in a changing room should be sacrosanct. It shouldn't have to go. It shouldn't have to be beyond for public consumption. It should. Whatever you want to say to a player. I remember the infamous Man United with Ferguson with Beckham when he had a boot launched at him. Now, could you imagine if that was shown around the world on Amazon Prime? The shares of Man United would have gone down because they were saying it's time for Beckham to leave because he's been attacked by a manager. So I think there's some things that should stay within that changing room, that club. But when Wrighty was saying about give props to Vinay and everybody else. I was thinking Vinay was the one who got us Pepe. Like 90, we spent about 70 odd million, and that if you want to look at how the team or the club had failed Pepe, really, because his confidence was just not the same for him to be the player that we know he could have been. And Vina was one of the ones who organised the contract and everything. I was thinking, hang on a minute, Righty, you have to get some things in perspective here. You know what I mean? I've got a lot of respect in that, but there's a lot to be said about fan power as well as ex-players as well. I think we ousted the wrong manager or the right manager, and he's proved again. He keeps proving himself right. And now we've got a rookie manager who's proved everybody wrong. I put my hands up. I didn't think that he was gonna last. And we was looking at so many other managers within that time, and look what's happened. 6 years in, and he's brought us over the line.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, you were talking about Ian Wright. A lot of my mates who get me tickets and I meet at the 12 Pins, Finsbury Park, they actually went to the Tollington that night, which isn't near a tube at all. And a few of them got tickets for the final, but a few didn't. But they've said to me, at least they got photographs with Ian Wright there, And I must say that there has been a real lottery in terms of tickets. You know, some of my mates who go to every single game at home didn't get tickets. Others who go to every single game did get tickets. Now, one good bit of news, I don't know if you've met Simon. Did you meet Simon, Tim? Did you ever meet Simon?
No, I don't think so. Is he the...
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
he was he's a site manager of the school I worked in. He's got tickets, and his son. And the last big final in Europe he went to was in Copenhagen when we played the Italian guys Parma. And they had Tomas Brolin, you know. And do you remember Alan Smith scored after about 14
yes, yeah. And what was your man?
Yeah.
Aspria was playing for Parma as well.
That's right.
And
yeah,
Brolin.
that's great.
Thomas Brolin.
Yeah.
That was a team and a half. That was.
So listen, I'm hoping that Simon has got the hoodoo sign over at the opposition. So he's going out to the match and with his son, and hopefully he'll bring back the Champions League trophy. There you go. Come on, Simon.
I think but just to discuss Arteta there for a second, like Arteta, has won the Premier League now, and Joe, he's very successful, and I think it shouldn't be forgotten that Jurgen Klopp was held up as, and I even see Mo Salah was saying there last week, bring back heavy metal football and all this. Jurgen Klopp only won one Premier League, so now.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was.
But he won the Champions League as well, didn't he? And
he won Champions League as well, but he was a lot older than Arteta.
He had all four. He had all four.
Well, he managed a German team.
No, we never managed a German team, I don't think, because what was it? Low.
What his previous CV was.
Sorry. He married. He was previously a manager with Haaland's team. What's it? Bayer Leverkusen, was it?
Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah. Was that Mats Hummels that he played for them?
That's right.
But he was he was a good manager. There's no doubt about it. But they talk about him in Liverpool as if he was nobody. But that's all he won. He won one Premier League, and the Premier League really is. I mean, everyone, I suppose, everyone gets into the knockout stage of the Champions League, but the Premier League, it's a 38 rounds, it's pure solid slog. You have to stay going. The famous, what was it, Tony Pulis about, was it some Messi or Ronaldo, but would he be able to do it on a Tuesday night in Stoke? That kind of vibe. And there is that kind of vibe, Burnley, you saw Burnley last week. Burnley got right stuck in there. They weren't giving up.
Yeah,
and they were, and you have to win all those matches, and Wolves, and even the teams at the bottom of the league, and then you have which wasn't a factor, or which hasn't been mentioned, but I don't think there was ever a season where there was more London derbies, because you had West Ham, Crystal Palace, Brentford, Fulham, so on, Spurs obviously, and all those matches bring an extra bit of an edge. Yeah. So Arteta won a very good league against possibly, well, I don't know who the best manager in the Premier League is, but I'd say Pep is probably the best coach anyway. So he brought this ticky-tacky football. He's able to diversify. Every time he gets a player, he seems to improve him. Really, he's just unbelievable what he can do with players. Now he's unbelievably well resourced as well. But as Arteta has proven, or everyone's proven, this resourcing thing is just a minimum requirement. You have to have squads of 22, 23 players, maybe even more. And I'd say a big problem for Arteta was, he had players like Emile Citro, what was your man, Reece Nelson, all these type of players who were good players, but they were just so injury prone, and they weren't able to sustain. Iwobi, he had him, or no, actually maybe he had him, but he was maybe in Emery's time. But he had all these players that they just weren't able to handle the level of preparation and the level of coaching and the constant, pressure that you're under. And the funny thing about it is, as a friend of mine, and there's a lot of Irish people now support Brentford, because Keith Andrews is Irish, and obviously Collins and what's his name, Kelleher, are both Irish. But there's but they said, your man Norgard, he went as cover, but he kind of went as cover as a number 6. But your Arsenal, that's the one place like the amount of mileage that Declan Rice has covered up and down the field.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, yeah,
for sure.
Unbelievable. And like even Zubimendi, like the two of them, they have really put in the hard slog, and like they have provided. I mean, there's nothing glamorous about defending, but they have provided a kind of a pivot or cover, and obviously, let's say like Gabriel and Saliba. I'm very hopeful. This was a good word. I'm hopeful that they will really put down a marker in the Champions League final. That even though like PSG are a brilliant team and they move the ball well, and your man, the Georgian guy whose name I'm not even going to try and pronounce, but that guy, yeah. So they yeah, Terry, that is the best attempt I've heard, Terry.
It's like taking a jump at it. Yeah.
Run. Make sure to mention a double L at some point. But someone said one time that that he's a brilliant player, but the people he'll never get the adoration that he deserves, because the story here is he's like George Best. He'll never get to the World Cup. But that's factually incorrect. The reason he won't get the respect he deserves is because nobody can pronounce his name.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Have to just put it down the letter.
He should have done like the Rodri thing, like just sharpen it up a bit.
Yeah. This is the best thing about soccer, apart from what goes on the pitch. The banter. Banter. Yes. I've got to tell you this story, right? Just very quickly. So I told you earlier on that my son Michael is teaching, so he said, like, he'd watched the match. He said, I've got to go home. I've got to get up in the morning. He's got a responsible job and all that. And he had a collar and tie on still from work. So he went home, and then suddenly he appeared up at the ground with all the tens of thousands of people rocking with pockets full of Stella Artois. So he's with his mates. So he's with his mates from the Milk Boys Club, FC, and all that. And we're having banter. And then he said, about 1:45 to midnight, he said, listen, I've got to get up at the crack of dawn at 6 o'clock, and I've got to go out to my school. And of course, you know the banter they give Max Dowman. They go, school in the morning. You got school in the morning. Like that. Of course, they turned it on Michael. School in the morning. He's got school in the I just love that stuff. All good-natured, but great fun.
We said about banter. I think the Man City fan who had smuggled the Arsenal water bottle and making tears. I think that he went in a bit too early, as it were, because that kind of thing, when it bounces back, karma can give you a really good reminder and make you humble as well.
I heard Arsenal have actually run out of those bottles. There's so many people buying them. It's still here. Drink it out of them.
Yeah, I think that you have to be very careful when you play with banter. I went to work. I've been swapping a few of my shirts, so you guys can see, and a few of the shirts were from Alex, and I wore one shirt into work. And I never ever heard a workplace be so quiet because the Man United fans, Chelsea fans, Tottenham fans, Leicester fans, City. I think there's a City fan, Liverpool fan. I had one good guy. I must admit, he's a Liverpool fan, but he's retired, and he saw me in the middle of the road and he waved, and I waved him back. But it's amazing how when you win something, how much the banter, when it's real, you have to bite it, as it were, and then when you get on top, how calm everything seems to be. The traffic, if you're driving, every light's a green light, right? If you're walking, everyone's like, the road's parted, as it were. Everything just seems to be falling in place. The stars have aligned in the way of asking. My next question is, okay, so we know that Man City second, they can't catch us up. We're champions. What do you think is going to happen with Pep? Do you think Pep will still be? Because he said he's gone, isn't he?
He's gone. It's yeah. I
Yeah.
think that,
Well, I read today he's going to work for this big conglomerate, this Arab-based conglomerate that run or own about five or six clubs in different countries. I heard he's going to be an ambassador for all of those.
Yeah.
I must say, and I don't want to delve into his personal life, but I know it's been a bit rocky. And unlike Mrs. Arteta, his wife hasn't been too happy with his focus on football and so on. So maybe that might help him get his home life back on a steady kilter, you know.
Yeah. And he is a very intense individual, and he has won. This is the first time actually that he has gone 2 seasons without winning a league. That's a big achievement for Arteta. And if you remember, I'd be big on hopefully Terry and Linman, hopefully ye are big World Cup fans too, because we'll have to put our. But you remember, I was reading there about the Spanish team that won the World Cup, and they're saying Joe that it was all Barcelona players, and they were all
2010.
Yeah, 2010. Linman, but then it was all those Barcelona players and Iniesta and Busquets and Xavi, obviously, and so they were just an unbelievable. And he's so he had such an influence on football, and then he went from there obviously to Bayern, and then he came to City, and the biggest thing that you could say about him was he was able to adapt. He wasn't able to win this Premier or the Champions League. He had to get Haaland, and then he changed his style. And Haaland is a kind of an old school. Terry, do you remember he's a throwback to, what was his man, Big Mac, those type of big strikers they have up front. So he's a throwback to a much different era, but he was able to adapt to bring the best out of him, and obviously he has this, he definitely has a kind of a controlling, but so does Arteta. I'd say these people have obsessive, you couldn't live with them. I'd say they're just mad controlling individuals. There. Oh, the Clare jersey.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, County Clare. Hey. Saffron and blue.
that kid reminds me of Robert Perez.
Yes. Yeah. Whenever I see this kid, that's the first player it reminds me of. Reminds me of Perez, and the way he used to glide around in midfield.
My all-time favorite player. Yeah.
Would you? Yeah. Yeah. Would it? I see there was they were trying to pick a combo team there, and but they I saw with the Invincibles in the present team, but I see what's his name now? They reckon Saka and Rice and the two center. Or no, sorry, Saliba I think was getting in. I don't think Gabriel was getting in, but that was it. And do you know who was getting in? Was Timber. I feel Timber would probably get his place on that team as well. He was a player.
He's a very tough player.
Oh, very good and very.
I'm hoping that he can make it for the Champions League as well, because I think that we have that extra edge when he plays. He's quite an attacking player as well.
Yeah, and he'll be marking the guy with the unpronounceable name as well.
Lovely. And it'll be a good. That could be a very interesting final. Now that it's going to be really kind of interesting to see how it goes. That's good.
In this match against Crystal Palace, who would you rest? Would you play your full team? Or
I'd rest all of them.
I'd start Norgard. I'd tell Norgard, your time has come.
So I'll tell you what, when Arteta says, bring your boots and your dinner and everything else, I think that we have to have El Tel in the middle.
Well, what I was going to say was, if they play, which they should do, they should play none of the first team. I'm going to hang around the old dressing room door in case Arteta says, El Tel, get on, mate, it's your
turn. What about you, Glenn? What will be your position when you get the call from Arteta for Sunday?
you know what? Since I've started playing
Funny.
football from young, I've played in every position. I've played goalkeeper, right back, centre back, left back, midfield.
We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you now, yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I played in every
can't hear him.
position.
I can hear him, yeah.
I can hear. I can hear him.
Now, Ralph, that
Yeah, I
should
can hear
be.
you, yeah. That's it.
I can't hear him.
Oh, yeah, I can hear him.
Okay, no. I don't know what happened now. I didn't do anything.
You can hear him, guys.
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no bother.
It must be me then.
Yeah.
You
it's
haven't got
probably you.
sudden deafness syndrome, have you?
Yeah, I
Ralph,
don't know.
can you hear Glenwyn?
No, you hear now?
Ralph,
Glenwyn.
can you hear me?
I can
Yeah.
hear you. I can hear
Can you
Tim. I can
hear
hear
you?
Eltel, but I can't hear Glenwyn.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
can you hear now?
Can you hear me now?
No.
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 Let me come out and go back again.
Yeah, I did
come in,
nothing.
Walter,
Yeah. So I've played in every position: goalkeeper, right back, centre back, left back. I've played centre midfield. I've played wingers, both sides. I've played centre mid, attacking mid, and I ended up being a striker eventually. My best season I had in on the pitch was seven goals in the league and 5 in the knockout phase.
That's good.
That's
good.
That's good.
We've won the cup in the second division. So this was local clubs, not professional football though. So we won the cup from the second division, and then I was the most improved player for that season.
Oh,
So
very good.
I had 12 goals in all competitions that season. So I played everywhere. So if Arteta calls me, he better hope that Joker is not up for the game. So I'll play in the 9.
Good man. I'll play right wing.
Can you hear me now, Ralph?
I can hear you now, Glenwyn.
Of course, must have been you.
No.
Yeah. And this
I have to leave you, unfortunately. Cahill is a bit unwell, Terry.
Okay.
So lads, that was brilliant. And look,
fantastic.
Long live the Gooners, and best of luck in the Champions League final. Talk to you all again soon, lads.
Thank you, Tim.
Tim, take care.
Tim.
Love
to the family.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Take care.
Cheers. What happened there now?
There we go.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, I think if I'm Arteta for the Sunday's game, I'll start Max Dowman just to give it a bit of a. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Ralph?
I can hear you.
I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, Glenwyn, if I was Arteta, I would ask the league, is it okay if I play a lot of not my first team regulars? Just double check that, because it's a meaningless match. But what we don't want is any of our good players injured.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're in favour of English football, so he'd be talking to the FA, I guess. He could say, look, we are the shining light of current English football. So please, can we play a weakened team so that we've got a strong team in the final?
In the Champions League.
What's happened to him? He's gone as well.
Yeah, I think he's just coming back now. So yeah, I think you gotta try that. Also, I don't want us to lose that game by doing that. You still want to keep momentum, you know what I mean? Because you still want to, even if it's your last game and it's not a game that is pressurized for you to win, you still want to end off like Liverpool last season when they won the league. I think there were still 4 or 5 games to go, and they lost, I think, 3 of those or something to that effect. They lost a couple of games after they won the league. I remember they went to some place where they partied a whole night away. So you don't want to lose that momentum.
No,
But yeah,
no.
I mean, you're right by saying you gotta try and see. I mean, we've got a second team that can play any team. So if you start those players, you start with Kepa or Rice or Raya, and you get in the second team players in there, but still good players, because I don't think Palace will come in strong anyway, because they've got a final couple of days later.
Yeah.
Ralph, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you guys now.
Yeah.
It must be my end, so
Yeah.
we'll see if we can.
But yeah, just basically they'll play Jesus, won't they? They'll play him up front. I don't know. They might play Madueke.
Yeah.
They probably won't play Trossard because he's played a lot of games. Maybe they'll play Martinelli. Just keep some players who haven't been playing a lot. Maybe give them a proper run out to make sure.
You gotta give the youngster a feel for the field again. Next Darman, you gotta give him maybe a Premier League start, even if it's this game. You gotta start him and show what he can do from a start in a very, very competitive game. But it's not the ultimate game that you have to win.
Lads, I have to say this because I'm busting to say it. Did anybody see the meme, I think you call it, of Hincapié? And they have him in the Arsenal kit, but to keep his trousers, his shorts up, they've got him in braces. Did anybody see that?
I didn't see that.
I haven't seen that.
I would love if one of the players came on in braces for him. Even for a laugh. Just do it, you know.
Oh, fantastic.
That was so embarrassing from his side, eh?
Yeah.
I only saw on social media how it ended up. I didn't see the full clip, as it were. But
do you know the funniest bit was I saw it live, and the camera had him in the middle of the screen, but behind him was the crowd in close up. And there were two women just going "Whoa!" and rolling around in laughter.
He was probably very endowed. They probably thought that guy's endowed.
He must have got a lot of ribbon for that, man. I'll tell you.
Well, I think he's probably converted those women to full lifetime Arsenal members.
Arsenal members, yeah.
Arsenal has gone through so much already, and on top of it, you get a player that's almost naked on the field.
Can we actually, now we're talking about women, as it were, can we steer towards two wonderful servants of the match? Beth, I mean, we've got it going across the screen there, but particularly Beth Mead and Kate McGabe.
I'm going to put up that what Ange has said there. You can go ahead. I'll get it for you now.
Yeah. Beth Mead, 265 appearances, 86 goals. Kate McGabe, 305 appearances and 37 goals. You know, that women's team, legendary because they won their version of the Champions League as well. Cup games, leadership. When you talk about the women's game, how they've gone up another level as well, and the youngsters have got in that team also. It just means that there's. I think they played for Champions League placings as well because they got knocked out early, and they were challenging for top spots. I wish Andrew was there because Andrew would be able to give us a bit more leeway.
What happened was they because they played so many games, that Champions League, home and away, semi-finals and whatnot, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then they had games in hand in the WSL,
Right.
And I think if they had won all their games, they would have clinched the title as well. But I think they drew one and they lost one.
Right.
And then after that they won their last three, so they ended up second. So they are in the Champions League next season again. So yeah, that is quite an achievement. And this coach, Renee Slagers, she has come in after Idowell, and she just changed things so good. I mean, she was also an Arsenal player back years ago. She was
Right.
also an Arsenal player, and then she came in as an interim, and then she won so much. They made her permanent, and then she went on to win the Champions League and came second again this season. So she's done very well, and she's brought in very good players as well.
Yeah, I've got to say, I know a lot of people who go to all the women's games. You know, there's a guy who goes with his wife, Jane. There's a fella in my road here. Him and his wife go to all the women's games. They've been to the Champions League finals to see the women win. So, you know, they're getting very good crowds, and it's a good standard of football. It's great to see. It's really good. You know, I had a friend years ago. His daughter played for Millwall Lionesses, and the standard in them days was very poor. But the standard has come right the way through, and there's some great. In fact, another mate of mine runs a young girls football team. I think they're under 13s girls team, and they're doing very well. So it's a real up and coming sport now. You know.
Yeah, I if I want to go back into history, way back, a mere youngster. I was working for this at the time famous studio in the West End, and we had a lot of freelancers in the studio, and one of them was she played for Fulham, goalkeeper, and she was England international as well. And I think her build was almost similar to Peter Shilton.
Oh wow!
And yeah, and she, you know, I didn't see her play, but from what she used to, you know, what she told me, I mean, I had no doubts that she was very exemplary in her field, and I think it's something that we're so I suppose one-sided when it comes to football because of course you know it's the male side and we support the teams and everything else. When the England team won their Euros in this country, my head turned. I was thinking, right, okay, and a few of them played for the Arsenal as well. I've known quite a few of the women's team, but not to the extent of being now. When I watch it, I'm fully engaged, you know, because it's Arsenal. So I don't care if you're under 18, if you're the women's, if you're men's reserves or whatever, you know, you're Arsenal. As far as I'm concerned, you're an Arsenal player. Leah
Arsenal
Williamson
player.
is another player that's you know I totally adore. Alex Scott as well. You know, she's gone into punditry. So many women, and yet you know they haven't. It's only recently they've got their plaudits as well. So
Yeah.
we have to big them up. We have to support them.
No, you've got to, because I mean, I'm
and
going to tell
long may
you.
they continue. Hopefully next season they'll have a better season than this one. But I think by rights, I think they've been knocked out with most of the cups. So maybe it's just take a deep breath and say right, okay, we've got two wonderful players. I think 3 or 4 wonderful players leaving the team, but we're also going to have some really good additions coming
In
into the
additions,
team.
yeah,
Like any
for
team
sure.
has to evolve, and hopefully they hit those heights again for next season.
But you gotta also look at
You know what I'm
the
going to do?
owners. The
I think we're
owners
going to
on.
wrap it up. One other thing we have to say, another Gooner passed away couple of weeks ago now, Peter Simpson. I believe his age 81. Played. I remember his name only because he played in the 1971 FA Cup against Liverpool.
Well, listen,
And
I'm going to tell you a very quick story that nobody ever remembers this, and I do. I was at Tottenham as a school kid with my dad in 1971 when we clinched the championship by beating Spurs 1-0. And because it was goal average in them days, you either that match,
Yes.
the way the match came, we either had to draw 0-0 or win. We couldn't draw 1-1 or 2-2. So anyway, my dad and I queued up for, there was as many people locked out as got in. We queued up from 10 to 4 to 10 past 7 and got in. It was a massive crush. Cars were buckled under the crush, and we were pushed against a brick wall by the turnstiles. It was quite freaky, you know. Anyway, Dad and I got in, and we actually got a seat. We'd mistakenly queued up for a seat. We'd never ever sat at a football match. And we saw the winning goal for Arsenal, which was in our end. Geordie Armstrong crossed the ball, Ray Kennedy headed it in. But there were about 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes left, and Spurs broke away towards our goal. Now, remember, if they'd have scored an equaliser, we wouldn't have won the league. We wouldn't have done a double that year. And they had a guy, a left back called Cyril Knowles, big tall fella, who had a rasping shot on him. And he was just outside the area, you know, probably 10 or 15 yards outside the area on the left-hand side, like a left back would be. And he let go a rasping shot. It was his famous shot. And it was heading for the top of the corner of the goal. And luckily, Peter Simpson stuck out his leg and it caught his shin, the thickness of the bone on his shin, and it flew over the bar and the whistle blew. So, Peter Simpson, don't forget that guy enabled the double.
And this is the original kit as well. It would have been the original kit that they would have played as well. I didn't know they had 3 kits. They had the red and white. They had the FA Cup kit, which is the yellow and blue. But apparently they had the white kit as well, which I didn't know about.
Well, when I first supported them in '67, I remember looking at the programme and they played in I forget who they were playing up north, but they played in black and white stripes and white shorts.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very. Yeah. So they have over the years they've had the odd strange kit that doesn't fit. You know,
it's good to delve back into the history of Arsenal, so you know you can establish those roots. And I say this to the youngsters, you know.
Yeah,
I say that. I remember Alex. He would always rib me because I'm the older brother, aren't I? So he said, "Oh, you know, Ralph, you know, you don't know much." I said, "Oh, well, I know enough. I know when to start something and when to stop." And we had many funny conversations like that. And I miss him greatly. But Peter Simpson.
I'm really pleased the way you had him on the tifo there, or you know, and you had him as king.
Yeah.
He really was our king.
Yeah, he's and like I said, that artwork from Roxy at Roxy D27. The 2 other women flanked by Alex, Sheila. I don't know much about Sheila, but she was a staunch Guna fan. And Lulu, her name was Gunnar Lulu. I spent many times sending messages, and she sent me messages back. And how we both said that how if Arsenal was going to win the Premiership, we'll run round Highbury, run round Highbury Islington in our underwear. And that would have been a sight to behold as well. But you know, God's timely intervention probably spared many eyes from that kind of scene.
You probably had to invite Nkapia as well.
People.
Hey, Nkapia would be there with you.
Yeah, for sure. But I want to express my gratitude and thanks to you, Eltel, and to Tim, the H-Men. And to Glenwyn, fantastic with all the work that you've been doing and supporting, you know, the way that the channel's been running as well.
And you know what I love about it is we can keep Alex in memory by keeping this channel going. I think about my dear friend Alex all the time, and we wouldn't have the fever pitch show that Tim has in Ireland without Alex and us coming on the show. So he
where
gave
can we
birth
catch you
to.
guys?
We recorded a show. I think it was last night.
No, Wednesday
and
night.
On Wednesday night, and it's come out. So, but we can send you a podcast of it. I think
Yes,
the
please.
podcast is
Yes,
out.
please.
Yeah.
I'd like to listen to that. And what about you, Glenn? You've got your podcast as well, don't you?
My channel is not
I think
running.
my phone's playing up again.
My channel is not running at the moment.
Okay.
So
we're gonna leave it there before my phone decides to actually explode or something. So what I'm gonna say is to all those City fans, Chelsea fans, Liverpool fans, Man United, Tottenham. I have to say Tottenham because there's a fate worse than anything else when you're a Tottenham fan. The refs, the PGML, LA, PGM, all the refs, all the haters. You know what? We are doing something right when you have haters, and when you have haters in your life, it means that you're doing something right. So, guys, thank you very, very much for supporting us and giving us that amount of love. And I only can express that we give you the love back in return because we've won. And that's it. Yeah. That's what I'm going to say. Thank you very much, guys.
We know what we are. We know what we are. Champions of England. We know what we are.
With that, take care, stay safe. Love to everyone. Be kind. You see what happens when you're kind? When you be kind? Be kind. And come on, you done. Let's go again for the next match and then the following week come. Take care, guys. Stay safe.
Absolutely.
Bye for now.
Thanks, everybody. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye now.